Welcome back, everybody, to our live show, and happy Monday. What a beautiful way to start the week. It is nice to give yourself a pep talk as you start a new week with the hopes of being productive. Always easier said than done, though.
Absolutely. Well, here to lead our Motivational Monday discussion is award-winning author Stacy Hawkins Adams, and it's always great to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Yeah, so today's topic actually resonates with me. As you know, I have little ones, and your topic is letting your children lead you.
Yes, yes. How do we live with childlike wonder? So whether you are the parent of young children, you happen to have young children in your neighborhood or in your family, you might even just see them in the grocery store. Wherever you see children on a daily basis, pay attention to how they walk through life, because there's something about how they walk through life with wonder and awe that we can learn from. You know, there's actually a new science that has been born from this. There was a New York Times article written last year about the science of awe, AWE, or the science of wonder, and how as adults, if we add more wonder into our lives, it reduces our blood pressure, it reduces stress, it helps us live with more peace and joy.
And I love that too. It does resonate with me as the mom of a 6.5-year-old. I recently had the conversation that when do people stop living like that? Every day that she wakes up, she just wants to explore, and she just has that excitement about what the day holds. How can we really maintain that in our lives?
You know, I think it's really intentional about the moment you wake up. That's what the experts in the mind and body thinking will say. They'll say the first, when you first wake up in the morning, set an expectation for how your day will go. And so in terms of living with wonder, that childlike wonder that I'm suggesting today, it could be simply taking a new route to work and paying attention. It could be taking a walk in your neighborhood but going a different route than you normally go. It could be having a conversation with a stranger, simply saying, how is your day? And just learning something about someone else, or maybe even about your environment that you really haven't thought about.
It really requires you to think in a mindful way, to be truly in the moment. I know when I wake up in the morning, the to-do list floods my mind of all the things that I need to do, as opposed to what can you enjoy, what can you have a new lens for in a particular day.
Right, and I think from a childlike perspective, we think about what we have to do on that long to-do list. Kids wake up and think about what they get to do. They get to go to school. They get to have lunch with their friends. They get to do all these wonderful things. So it's a shift in how we think about it as well. Even if it's a planned vacation, and maybe you've gone to Myrtle Beach every summer, or you've gone to see the Grand Canyon before, what can you see newly or differently if you were to look at it with childlike wonder, or if you took a child along and they are seeing it for the first time? You mentioned right before the break that you and your son sat outside and watched the rain. I'm sure he had a dozen questions for you about the rain and how it was hitting the grass and what did the sound mean. So you got to experience that in a new way, and that's what living with a childlike wonder is.
Just listening to you too, it occurs to me that it's really just staying present and being open to the opportunity that may come your way. I feel like with technology and our to-do lists, and we're always planning on what's next, maybe the question should be, what's now?
What's now? And it sometimes means putting down our phones, being really present in that moment, really enjoying the movie without watching the movie while you're texting your friend about it. I'm guilty of that. I've done that with friends. Let's watch a movie together in our own homes. But how can you be present in that very moment if you're taking the walk? Maybe sometimes it's not listening to the podcast like I'm prone to do, or the music, but you're simply walking and you're listening to the crickets, because I walk in the evening, so I typically hear the crickets, or I'll see the rabbits running through my neighborhood. But it makes me pause and just really appreciate the beauty of nature. So what are those things around you that if you just shifted up just a little bit, that you could appreciate differently?
It also reminds me that children often, they have their moments, they melt down, and then they move on. And so that meltdown doesn't ruin their day. That inconvenience, slight or otherwise, doesn't ruin what they came to do that day. They get through that and they move on to find something else just as fun, and approach the next thing with just as much wonder as they did before they had that moment. It's a good reminder that we need to do the same.
Exactly. And for us, it's probably a muscle, because we are so trained to think about the to-do list. We have responsibilities. We have to be mature. It doesn't feel mature to think like a child, but there's so much value in that. Like I said, they've created a whole science around awe. So if you Google that, you'll find there are many studies about that. You'll see a lot of things about adults embracing wonder. So I think we live in a space and time where things are so stressful and so chaotic, just the world in general. that we do need to take that pause and really appreciate, what are the simple things about the day? These beautiful flowers, how do we take notice of those flowers and really just spend a few seconds enjoying them?
Yes.
You really miss out if you don't allow yourself to be in the moment. And I think that we all sort of need to slow down like that and really to embrace that wonder. I think would be beautiful.
And to find ways to play. That's a new trend as well. Adults being able to play and almost learning how to be comfortable again with jumping in, meeting people that you don't know, and learning something new.
Yes, learning something new. The kids at the playground, they always have a new best friend by the time they leave the playground. And so we as adults, we would wind up talking to the parents as a result of that, or the caregiver who's with those children. But the kids lead that, and there's just so much joy and wonder. There's not like checking the boxes or asking the questions. We're just having fun on the slide. And so how do we do that in our daily interactions? And maybe even think about keeping a gratitude journal. That's a tried and true method. But at the end of the day, if you think about, this day might have not been the best day, but what was the one thing of wonder in this day that made me smile? And you kind of begin to track those things, and then it becomes a habit for you.
Something I've been doing with my daughter is before we go to bed, I always ask her what was her favorite part of the day or what made her happy that day. And I think that it's really just nice sentiment to kind of tie the end of the day with that happy bow like that.
Yeah, and our opportunity to help them shift the way they're going to think as adults. So hopefully they continue that wonder.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for being with us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
I've really enjoyed meeting you, Stacy. Thank you for coming in today. And we really look forward to having you here the next time you're here.
Thank you so much.
Stacy Hawkins Adams sends out weekly Motivational Monday emails. If you want more information or to subscribe, just visit stacyhawkinsadams.com.